We're your hosts, ready to explore the ideas, trends, and conversations that are shaping our lives, often in ways we don't even realize. Think of this as your weekly invitation to step inside the shimmering sphere of contemporary culture and examine it from fresh angles. Each week, we'll be popping open discussions on everything from the latest shifts in technology and the nuances of human connection to the undercurrents of social change and the sparks of creative innovation. We aim to unpack complex topics in an accessible and engaging way, offering perspectives that might just expand your own understanding. Forget dry lectures or echo chambers. We're here for the open-minded exploration and lively exchanges.
Our goal is simple: to foster a deeper understanding of the world around us, one conversation at a time. We believe that by carefully examining the bubbles we live in, the social, digital, and even personal spheres that define our experiences, we can gain valuable insights into ourselves and the broader human story. So settle in, get comfortable, and prepare to have your perceptions gently challenged and your curiosity ignited. What are you doing?
Keep going, keep reading.
That...
We got to split her script.
Okay. Whether you're a seasoned observer or of the human condition, or simply someone looking to make sense of the ever evolving landscape, you found your auditory home. We're excited to embark on this journey of discovery with you, navigating the ebbs and flow of the modern life with curiosity and touch of playful inquiry. Get ready to awesome preconceived notions and explore the fascinating world within the bubble chat.
So grab your headphones, grab your cup of your favorite brew, and just join us and jump into this week's discussion. We're thrilled to have you here and can't wait to share your insights and perspective that we've gathered. Let the conversation begin. Now, as Ms. Williams once said, let's get into hot topics. How you doing?
How you doing? Well, first off, I do want to explain something to our bubblers. You may have noticed that an episode of the Bubble Chat was delayed because normally I schedule my episodes at 9 in the morning, and just last week there was no episode at all. So just to make it up to you, we have decided to upload 2 episodes. One that could have been for last Monday, and the other one for right now. So feel free to take a listen to that episode if you want to. We do apologize for the delay.
Let's get that. Double up.
Yep, double up.
Yeah, well, first up, in a recent review with Rolling Stone, singer-songwriter Lorde opened up about watching the infamous 1995 sex tape of Pamela Anderson and Tommy Lee. She described the video as beautiful, noting the apparent purity and freedom between the couple. Lorde admitted maybe it's fucked up that I watched it, but emphasized on the sense of love and spontaneity she perceived. However, her comments have been met with a significant backlash. Critics argue that Lorde's romanticization of the tape regards the trauma of Pamela Anderson has publicly expressed over the years. Anderson has consistently condemned the unauthorized release, likening the violation of her past experience and abuse, emphasizing the profound impact it had on her life and career. The controversy raised critical questions about consent and ethics of consuming leaked private content and the responsibility public figures have when commenting on such sensitive matters. So co-host, here's the question for you. In an age where personal boundaries are continually tested by media and public curiosity, how should we navigate the line between appreciating art or expressions of intimacy and respecting the privacy and content of those involved.
Listen. I know we live in a world where celebrities are constantly reacting to pop culture moments, old and new, but some reactions really need more sensitivity and awareness behind them. Pamela Anderson's story, especially after her documentary and memoir came out, I don't know, I never watched them before, I never read them before, but I believe it made it very clear that the sex tape leak wasn't just some scandalous moment in pop culture. It was a violation. It was a massive invasion of privacy. That tape was stolen, not shared with consent, and what followed was years of exploitation, trauma, and a complete lack of empathy from the public and media. So when I see someone like Lorde, who I admire or musically, by the way, treating that moment like a casual pop culture throwback or making light of it, it's disappointing. It's a reminder that we really have to be careful how we react to things, especially sex tapes or anything that involves intimate private material for that matter. Because leaking that kind of content is not only wrong, it's literally illegal. And even beyond the law, we have to ask ourselves, do we really know the full story? Do we know if the person involved gave permission? Do we know if it was leaked out of malice or if the person is still dealing with the fallout? If the answer is no, then what the fuck are we doing treating it like entertainment? But at the end of the day, this is about human decency. We've come a long way in understanding consent and respecting people's boundaries, but we still have a long way to go. So before we laugh, comment, or share something that's rooted in someone else's pain, we need to stop and think. Because if it happens to you or someone you love, I promise it wouldn't be funny.
Very, very true. Um, so in 95, I was 15 years old, and we didn't have social media like that. There was no Facebook, right?
It was
So
on TikTok.
so the point I'm trying to make is, and at the time that it was released, the time is not of now of the accessibility of the digital world, right? They were rock stars. Tommy Lee Jones was a rock star. Pamela Anderson Lee, she was that girl. She was the it girl. All those things. They had a very, very lively, and I'm not going to say tumultuous or toxic, but they were in the spotlight. They were in the limelight. Um, I've never seen the tape. I don't support. Um, I don't support it if it comes to the detriment or the mental health of someone, and we're speaking of Pamela Anderson at this point. Um, for Lord to admire, because she didn't say anything wrong. She said it was pure. And I'm sure it was a pure act of love. They were married and everything like that, but it is not for the public eye to see and or to witness.
Right. Right.
Sorry that is out there, but I don't think Lord did or said anything wrong. She didn't body shame. She didn't age shame. She didn't do any of those things. She just said, "Oh, like that was art. That was beautiful." And in contrary and contrast to Kim Kardashian and Ray J, there wasn't nothing beautiful or awful about it, especially when your mama produced it and had you retake it and do the scenes over. So, yes, when you have an intimate moment shared between a married couple and that piece of intimacy is shared with the world, yes, it can be disheartening. But as far as Lord's comment about it, I think she was giving homage, like who looks at porn these days and said that that's art and it's pure? Because porn is porn. Pamela and her husband were being Pamela and her husband. Unfortunately, it got so let's just pray for and Pamela Anderson's mental stability. And let's just get off Lord's back. She witnessed something very nice and she commented on it, even though it was none of our business for that to be shared or to give our opinion on.
Yeah, well, moving along, on Saturday, May 17th, 2025, Natalia Bryant, daughter of the late Kobe Bryant, and his mother, Vanessa Bryant, graduated from University of Southern California's prestigious film school, dressed in a white gown adorned with a red stole bearing the words cum laude and the Greek letters of her sorority. Natalia walked across the stage, marking the culmination of years of dedication and hard work. Vanessa Bryant took to Instagram to express her pride, sharing heartfelt messages and photos of Natalia in her graduation attire. The moment was not just a personal achievement for Natalia, but also a testament to her resilience and strength in the face of adversity. Since the tragic loss of her father, Kobe, and her sister, Gianna, in 2020, Natalia has navigated her path with grace and determination, balancing her academic pursuits with a burgeoning modeling career. She made her runway debut with Versace at Milan Fashion Week in 2024 and has expressed interest in continuing in the fashion industry post-graduation. Natalia has often spoke about about the influence of her father and her aspirations, citing her inspirations in her decision to pursue film. Her journey reflects not only personal growth, but also the enduring impact of a legacy built on passion, perseverance, and the pursuit of excellence. So, co-host,
Mm-hmm.
here's a question for you. In what ways do you think Natalia Bryant's achievements contribute to the ongoing legacy of the Bryant family, and how might her future endeavors in the film and fashion continue to honor and expand upon that legacy?
I would say Black Girl Magic, congratulations. I would say she is carrying on the torch of legacy for her family. There was a word that was used in the segment. It was called perseverance. There is a word two words that I use. In spite, or the phrase in spite of. Yes, in spite of losing her father, she is exampling, she is giving an example of greatness. In spite of the loss in her life, she has moved on and done great things. And it's just the beginning of her life. I would like to applaud the Bryant family, and along with a lot of other families who have lost the head of their family, and they still have to keep going, and they're in their operating out of shadow and into the light. And what I'm saying is if the father is the protector, the prayer, the provider, you're under his umbrella and his tree. And if he falls, then you stand outside of the shadow of protection that you have, and then you stand into the light. And now you are projecting what was given to you. So what I'm going to say is continue to be great, continue to be awesome, and continue to go ahead and move forward into the Bryant's legacy.
Yeah, can we talk? Can we take a moment to celebrate Natalia Bryant because,
Of
wow,
course.
she just graduated from college, and that is such a powerful, beautiful accomplishment. As a soon-to-be college graduate, I don't think people realize the amount of strength it takes to keep pushing forward after everything she and her family been through.
Mm-hmm,
Natalia
mm-hmm.
lost her father and her little sister in the most tragic, unexpected way, and that kind of loss at that kind of age is something that changes your entire world. And yet she stayed focused. She showed up. She kept going. That takes real courage.
That's
Graduating
right.
college is hard enough as it is, but doing it while carrying grief, while being in the public eye, and while trying to protect your peace and privacy, that's a whole other level of resilience. Natalia didn't just graduate, she triumphed. She honored her family by moving forward with grace. And to me, that's the definition of strength. I think we all can take something from her journey. You don't have to be famous or a celebrity kid to relate to the idea of pushing through pain, whether you lost someone, faced hardship, or had to keep showing up where your heart feels too heavy. There's something inspiring about the way she did it.
That's
Quiet,
right.
steady, and with purpose. So Shout out to Natalia Bryan. She didn't just walk across the stage with a diploma. She walked with love and memory of her dad and sister behind her, and that's something no one can take away.
That's right. Well, you like to talk about whitefish. I like to think about catfish. We're going to talk about blackfish. And Beyonce is my blackfish. Beyonce Cowboy Carter tour faced an unsuspected challenge in Chicago. Severe thunderstorms and tornado warnings led to a significant delay of her first three scheduled performances at Soldier Field. Concert goers were instructed to shelter in place as heavy winds and rain strong swept through the open. I'm sorry. Concert goers were instructed to shelter in place as heavy rain and strong winds swept through the open air stadium, despite the inclement.
Yeah, inclement.
Okay, despite the inclement weather, fans remained all enthusiastic, emphasizing Beyonce's unique appeal. The tour supporting her Grammy-winning album, Cowboy Carter, also faced logistical concerns on the East Coast. A transit strike involving New Jersey transit engineers may complicate transportation to upcoming shows at MetLife Stadium in New Jersey, scheduled May 22nd to May 29th. New Jersey Transit has already canceled services for other major concerts, and MetLife has recommended alternatives like ride sharing or carpooling, warning of potential delays and high demands. So, co host, here's a question for you. In the face of unforeseen challenges like severe weather and transit strikes, how do major artists and their teams navigate the balance between ensuring fan safety and delivering unforgettable performances?
All right. Let's talk about Beyonce rescheduling her Cowboy Carter show. Um, I get it. I get it. I really do. When you've got tickets to see one of the biggest stars in the world, emotions are high. People been saving money because they probably cost like thousands of dollars to this day and age. And people plan months in advance. They travel, spend a lot of money, and naturally, a postponement can be frustrating. But at the end of the day, safety has to come first. Rainstorms, especially the kind that spark warnings, are dangerous. We're talking flooding, lightning, wind damage. It's not just a little drizzle and glitter. Sometimes people get upset because the storm doesn't end up happening or doesn't hit hard, excuse me, as predicted. I remember when Vanessa Williams, she had to cancel her show in Philly because the superintendent of that venue decided that it was too risky to have the event take place because of an ongoing thunderstorm, which haven't took place. But that's not. But the point is this: you can't gamble with lives. Beyonce, her team, the venue, all of them have a responsibility to protect not just the performers, but the fans, the crew, the vendors, everyone. And let's be honest, this is Beyonce we're talking about. If anyone knows how to deliver an unforgettable experience, it's her. She's not going to put on a half-hearted show in a storm just to say she didn't cancel. She wants to give people everything they paid for and more. And that means doing it when the environment is enough to let her vision thrive. So I think it was the right call. Always be better to be safe than sorry. The fans will get their moment, and when they do, it'll be under clear skies and safe conditions. That's what matters most.
Well, I'm going to differ. She better get her ass out there like Prince and like Diana Ross in the rain. In the rain and in the rain. She can catch a little drizzle. She can catch a fat drop from the sky. But what I will say is is if by chance they need to maybe reschedule the dates, because it does happen when you have to reschedule the dates. Like we say, Beyonce's gonna give you what she's gonna give you. She's gonna give you the experience. But we can't always fight with Mother Nature and Father Time. That is, those are the co-parents of our universe, and so I have had to cancel trips because it was flying trees where I was going. It was a hurricane. I could not go. I'm gonna sit my ass right here. I ain't going nowhere. Yeah, it was tornado winds. Yeah, that's not just rain. That's not a thunderstorm. That's a weather or pandemic. You can tear some shit up. So if they have to reschedule, please let it be rescheduled. For those who are going to go to the concert and does not get rescheduled, just please be careful. As far as transit going on strike, I don't think one thing has to do with the other because they've been going on strike before she was going on tour. It just happened that these two things have kind of met each other in the middle. Hopefully the fans and supporters can meet each other in the middle and, like they say, do some ride sharing, do some carpooling. At the end of the day, we want you to enjoy the show. We want to enjoy the show to be safe. And we also want you guys to operate safely. So, if all counterparts do their part, I think that it'll go on without a hitch, even if it does rain and the tree fly through the concert a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. Next up, amid the ongoing federal trial of Sean Diddy Combs, I'm talking about P. Diddy, Puff Daddy, whatever the fuck you call him nowadays, who faced serious charges, including sex trafficking, racketing, and transportations to engage in prostitution. Rumors began circulating about Justin Bieber's past association with the music mogul. Speculation intensified due to resurfaced videos from the early 2010s showing Bieber, who was a teenager at the time, interacting with Combs in various public settings. In response to these rumors, Justin Bieber's representative issued a statement on May 15th, firmly denying any allegations of misconduct involving Bieber's and Combs. The rep emphasized that while Bieber is not among Combs' victims, there are individuals who have been genuinely harmed, and diverting attention from their pursuit of justice is determinal. The trial has brought to light disturbing allegations against Combs, including testimony from his ex-girlfriend Cassie, who described years of abuse and coercion. Bieber's statements serves to clarify his position and redirect focus to the victim's experience. So, co-host, here's a question for you. In situations where public figures are linked to individuals facing serious allegations, how should they navigate public discourse to both protect their own reputations and support the pursuit of justice for actual victims?
Well, I'm going to hit you with an old saying. It says, all my business is none of yours. Regardless of public opinion, regardless of the seriousness or the horrendousness of the situation, all of Justin Bieber's business is none of ours. Even though Puff Daddy is standing trial right now, all of his business is none of ours. It is very sad it's sad, victim or not, to have to come out and address being a victim or not. But if you are a victim and you have gone through the traumatic experience of being violated, it is a process, and it is something that I think that you have to navigate through, and it's not easy. It's just as uneasy and something to navigate when you are not a victim and you have to clarify something about not being the victim. Because if I come out and say, hey, this did not happen to me, then there is still something that's happening to the accuser, right? The weight of the story, the weight of the action falls on the accuser. It is an offense, an assault to me, whatever the action allegedly happened. But then if it did not happen and I have to clarify the error, then I clarify the error, but then there's still the action of this other person being accused of allegedly doing something that they did not do, if I'm going to be clarifying and say that they did not. Now, we are saying said person is Justin Bieber, other person is said the diddler. It's very, very complicated. It's very, very tricky. This is more than 50 shades of gray when we talk about this discussion, because you can look at this so many different angles, so many different ways, and come up with your own perspective. What we will say, what I will say, what the Bubble Chat platform will say is that we support any and all victims of sexual assault. And we support and we want justice due for all sexual assaulters. Now, the process of redemption, the process of rehabilitation, that is a road and a map for that person to navigate through. But I will say that we support sexual people that have been assaulted, and we want justice and the law to be proven for the assaulters.
Mm-hmm. The truth is this. Justin started in the music industry very young. He was just a kid when he blew up, and a lot of people who surrounded him early on, mentors, producers, industry executives, played a huge role in shaping his career. One of those people was Diddy. There's no denying that. Now, now that all these allegations are coming out about Diddy, there's a spotlight being put on everyone who was once close to him, including Justin. And honestly, after reading what Justin had to say, I don't know what to think. He didn't say much, but you can tell he's trying to distance himself while also being careful with his words. And look, I'm not here to accuse or assume anything. I don't know the behind the scenes of their relationship, and I don't think any of us really do. So I really can't sit here and say there is or isn't something suspicious going on. What I can say is that the music industry is complicated. Power dynamics, mentorships, contracts, there's a lot that happens in the dark before it ever comes to light. It's imperative to let the facts come out and not jump to conclusions about who knew what and when. But I think it's also fair to acknowledge that Justin, like a lot of artists who started young, might be processing a lot of that right now, especially in the environment. He wasn't, especially if the environment wasn't what it seems. So for now, I'm watching, listening, and staying open to the truth, whatever that may be, because at the end of the day, accountability matters. But so does fairness and not rushing to judgment without all the facts.
Mm. Well, on to the next. Halle Berry was Halle Bailey was granted temporary restraining order against her ex-boyfriend, rapper and YouTuber DDG, Daryl Dwayne Gunberry Jr., following alleged allegations of physical, verbal, emotional, and financial abuse. This restraining order also extends to their 17-month son, Halo. Bailey's court filings detail multiple incidents of alleged abuse. In one instance from January 2020, during a custody exchange, she claims DDG pulled her hair and slammed her face into a steering wheel, resulting into a chipped tooth and bruises. But photographic evidence of these bruises, photographic evidence of these injuries were submitted to court. Further allegations include DDG's entering Bailey's home without permission, sending her a photo of her bed with a suggestive message, and later destroying her Ring camera and throwing away her phone during another confrontation. Bailey also expressed fears that DDG might abduct their son, citing an incident where he allegedly threatened to take Halo without her consent. The restraining order mandates that DDG stay at least 100 yards, that's 300 feet, away from Bailey and their son, prohibits any form of contact that is so scandalous, and bans him from possessing firearms. That's smart. A court hearing is scheduled for June 26th. That's next month, not even 2.5 weeks away, to determine the possibility of extending their order. So, co-host, here's a question for you. In situations where public figures face personal and legal challenges, how can they balance their public image with the need for privacy and safety, especially when children are involved?
I thank God Holly and her child got away from that man safely because from what we're just learning right now, that relationship looked like hell behind the scenes. From the outside, people love to romanticize celebrity couples, especially when the photos are cute and the public appearances look all smiles. But this goes to show you that you never know what someone is going through in private. And now that Holly is taking legal action, from what I know, it's clear that whatever she was dealing with reached a point where she had to prioritize her safety and her babies. And it's not just Hallie. Scott Jackson is also recently reportedly going through the same thing, facing real harm from someone she once trusted. It's terrifying, it's painful, and it's something no one should have to experience, especially in their young adulthood. It takes so much strength to leave, to speak up, to go through the legal process. And I'm proud of both Holly and Sky for choosing themselves and choosing peace. Because sometimes when people say just leave, they don't understand the danger that can come after you walk away. Let this be a reminder that protecting yourself and your peace is not a weakness, it's survival, whether you're a celebrity or not. No one deserves to be mistreated, controlled, or scared for their life. And I really hope these women continue to be and victims of domestic violence, both women and men, continue to be protected, supported, and surrounded by people who care for their well-being. And to Holly and Sky, you did the right thing, and we're standing right behind you.
That's right. There's a trifecta here, and that is young stardom, that is young love, and then the inexperience of parenting. These are all three very challenging subjects to conquer. And so when all of them are all met together at a head, you really need to take your time and consider what's important and what is not important. And with the trifecta, what is important? My career. What is important? My relationship. What is important? This new young being that I'm caring for, the baby Halo. You had said something. You said, like the perception. When you're cute and you're having fun and it looks nice, you don't even consider how dark the background or outside of the frames that we're seeing it is. I'm not saying that he or she is irresponsible. I'm not going to say that they are immature. What I'm going to say is that is a very, very hard, heavy subject. 3 subjects, and I'm sure that it's hard to navigate. Sorry, I had a mosquito in my house. I had to kill it. No, so like I said, they're young, they're rich, and they have a family unit already.
Yeah.
And you're not old enough to know what to do or what not to do in a relationship. You are rich enough to have the means to change and fix these things. And you're constantly preparing yourself to help and aid for the baby's life, right? So I'm just going to pray for them individually, and I'm going to pray for them as a unit, because even if they make it in a relationship or not, they're still a family. And the DNA rides in that little boy both ways. So, we're just going to pray for peace, productivity, and life for all 3 of them. That's a little deep, wasn't it, nephew?
Yeah.
All right, well, let's perk things up. All month long, we have been celebrating AAPI Heritage Month by spotlighting voices who are making space, shining culture, and showing up authentically in their industries. Today, we're going to focus on the music artist who's taken the global pop scene by storm. Rina Sawanamaya?
Sawayama.
Sawayama. Come on, if you give it up.
Rina Sawayama is a Japanese-British singer, songwriter, and model known for blending genres like pop, rock, R&B, and electronic music, sometimes all in the same track. She debuted her studio album, Sawayama, in 2020, followed by her sophomore album, Hold the Girl, in 2022. Both projects were praised for their sonic range, emotional honesty, and nods to her experience as an Asian queer woman navigating Western pop spaces. Beyond the music, Rina has spoken openly about cultural identity, anti-Asian racism, and the challenges of representation in the music industry. She's been a vocal advocate for equity in music and sports, as well as notably prompting changes to the British eligibility rules after being excluded of resident status, even though she has lived in the UK for most of her life. Whether she's walking the red carpet in head-turning fashion or belting out powerhouse vocals on tour, Rina's presence continues to remind us that being multiple and safe isn't just okay.
Okay. Welcome back, Bubble Chat fam. Now it's time for our favorite segment, Beyond the Blog. This is where we rewind the clock and revisit major pop culture moments that happened before the Bubble Chat was even born. These are moments that shape the way we talk about celebrity, social media, and industry today. On today's Beyond the Blog, rapper and hot girl coach Megan Thee Stallion filed a lawsuit against blogger Milagro Grams, also known as Milagro Elizabeth Cooper. The lawsuit alleges that Cooper engaged in a campaign of harassment and defamation, including sharing altered explicit content and questioning the legitimacy of Megan's shooting incident involving rapper Tory Lanez. The legal action claims that Cooper acted as a surrogate for Lanez, who was convicted in 2022 for showing Megan and served 10 years sentence in jail. Megan's attorneys argued that Cooper's actions caused significant emotional distress and sought a permanent injunction to prevent further defamatory conduct. This case underscores the challenges public figures face in the digital age, where misinformation can spread rapidly and the lines between commentary and defamation become so blurred. Co-host, or should I ask myself? Here's the question. How does this lawsuit reflect the evolving responsibilities of online personalities and the implications, and what implications does it have for freedom of expression versus accountability in the digital realm? Well, say it with your chest and keep your chin up, okay? Say it with your chest and keep your chin up. Now, I'm no Megan Thee Stallion, I'm no Tory Lanez, but in my own little celebrity, on my page, Adonis Concierge, on all platforms, ADONISCONCIERGE. That was a shameless plug. Follow me if you like. My fans are growing, my numbers are up, and I have views that are going viral. Huh?
Your coins are up on Instagram?
Yes, everything is moving good, right? And in all of that goodness, in my yard of comments, because that's what I call my comment section, in my yard of comments, oh, it goes down. People be getting raw, ripe, and rowdy. And you have to, I have to deal with it. Now, I am no Megan Thee Stallion or Tory Lanez, so I could never imagine the mass amount of ridicule and opinions and all these things that people spew on your life, your private life. I done got shot in the hoof and everybody gonna call me wrong. That man ain't got no hairline. They say it's been stressed out, plugged out. It's just been stomped out. And these are people's real lives. And, we say the word evolution, the evolution of news. This is a digital world. You can have access to anything and everything and a part of the information at the tip of your fingers. So, with that being said, I believe that sometimes information can be overkill. You know, G.I. Joe says knowing is half the battle. Now, after you know, how do you actually go into battle? And I think that's something that we all have to challenge here. How do we actually confront this? How can we combat this? How can we get some mediation, some neutralization to the situation? Because when we say combat, that sounds like a fight. It sounds like an argument. It sounds like it'd be war. But we're trying to figure this out, and it may be looked at combatively because we want this to be neutral. We want this to be modified. See, we're bringing words to bring it down. It got taken up so much because of the fans, the hoopla, and chicks like Miss Cooper that keep it going. You know, putting vinegar, salty bubbles in the bubble water. Them salty bubbles, you throwing them, popping them salty bubbles when we already know it's gonna sting your eye just a little bit, just gonna sting just a little bit, just a teeny bit. So, as I said, defamation, opinions, platforms, and correct information all play a significant part in this. But what we will say is that, because right here on the bubble chat, want to give you facts, want to give you the truth. We're just going to keep it real, okay?
Just like the real.
And that's it. Facts, truth, and real. That's all we have. And we're going to hope that other people can stick to that recipe, because we know lies, slander, and gossip sells just as well. But we're going to keep truth, facts, and realness right here on the bubble chat. And with that being said, guys, it is officially time to clock the fuck out. Want to thank you so much for hanging out with us. Whether you're listening while you fold your laundry, taking a walk, or just kicking it back and giving yourself a break. We're grateful that you chose to spend your time of the day with us. We've covered a lot, from celebrity lawsuits to cultural milestones to moments that shaped the internet before this podcast was even a thing. And we're going to keep showing up every week to break it all down for you and to add a little context and, of course, spill this motherfucking tea. So make sure to follow and or subscribe wherever you get your podcast so you don't miss out on an episode. And if you like what you heard, please leave us a rating and a quick review. It helps us find people and keeps the bubble growing. So from me to you and everyone out there, good night from the bubble chat. Keep the conversation going and keep them bubbles bubbling.
Good night, y'all.
All right. Good night, nephew.